Hello again. Those of you who are subscribers to my channel, and I hope you will be a subscriber to my channel, may have seen that I've been doing several videos with this particular die. It's new to me. I don't know if it's been out for very long, but it's a poppy stamps die called Stained Glass Butterfly and Background. I really rather care for it. It's very bold. And so today I thought I would actually do a proper stained glass effect. Now you can do this, of course, by cutting out the filigree one from several shades of card and inserting them into the little bits into a frame one. But I thought that was a bit like hard work, so I thought, what can I do to make it a bit easier? And I came up with a cunning plan. So what I'm going to do is stick one of these in black, because I thought the black looks like the lead that goes in stained glass, to a white one. So on the back, whoops daisy, put some glue. There we are. I must try and remember to keep in shot. I know I'm dreadful. I get carried away with what I'm doing and I don't think what people can see. So just align this up on here and stick it down. Right, just going to clean that mess, because if you don't clean your mess as you go, as I've found to my cost, you can get some dirty marks on nice, pristine white bits of card. Okay. This is a 5x7 size card, by the way. So cut an oval in a panel, put some embossing of music behind, which was this Sizzix one, and just soften the edge a little with a bit of a leafy die cut. Anyway, I'll put that out of the way for the moment. We'll get on with this. So what I did was this. I chose 3 colours of blue. These are Copic markers. And I simply coloured in the cells. Very simply. You don't have to be incredibly precise, because the black, A, doesn't show, and B, I'm going to be putting something over the top of it. So that, how did I do this one? I did the 2 outer ones like this and left the middle one for another blue. Okay, here we go. Right. That one and that one looks brighter already, doesn't it? Obviously you can choose whatever colours you fancy, really. This one for the next little bit, it's more of a sort of a turquoise blue. This one's got a bit more ink in it. I think it's a bit juicier than the first one. I've had these for absolute ages and I really should either replace the ones that have worn out, but it's quite a lot of expense. There we go. Let's do these 2 here. I think that's what I did on the other one. Okay, and the last colour is a paler colour. You do whatever you like, really, of course. I keep saying the world is your shellfish. Here we go. And we are done. Okay, there we go. Now, Here I have cut 2 more and stacked them, so that's a bit thicker than the first one I put on, but I'm going to put this one on top of that. Same way, I like to use a wet glue because it means I can maneuver where I put the top one exactly to make sure that they are aligned properly. If you use a sticky back sheet or something, then chances are if you stick it down once, you can't move it if it's not quite right. So, okay, next one. Put this on the top and stick that down. Now, you may notice that you can see some white around the edge, which personally I kind of don't care for very much in this particular case. Often I quite like a different colour. But I'm going to use just a black marker, and I'm just going to go around the edge and get rid of that white. Not doing very well, am I? But it doesn't matter. It's the back. It doesn't matter. I was going to use the fat edge of this pen, but with the fat edge I can't get into the corners so well, so I'm just making a mess of the thin, skinny edge. Never mind, we'll get there. Okay. There we go. I think we're done. Right. Now we can't see any of those white lines around the edge. The next thing I want to do is to make this shiny. So what I'm going to use is some Nouveau Crystal Glaze and just pop this into each of those cells and onto the top layer as well to make that shiny. So I'm not bothering about trying to avoid that top layer, this black bit. I'm just filling up the cells, and in a moment I'm going to go around and cover over like this, cover over the filigree bit. Now sometimes when you do this, if the cell you've got to do is quite small, you can't get the nozzle of the crystal glaze into the corners. So what I do is this: I just get a pokey tool and just do that while it's still runny before it starts to set. You can just move it around a little bit and you can see whether there's enough in the cells. Fill up these. And I'm just going to go over the top. If you didn't want to cover the whole thing with crystal glaze, you could actually use Versamark and some clear embossing powder to make the top filigree layer shiny as well. There, that's 1/2 done. And you can see the difference between the non-shine side and the glossy side. So you can obviously, if you prefer it not looking shiny, you can leave it like this. If you want to, you could add a little shimmer, some twinkle flakes or whatever. I use a product called Glamour Dust, which is just like a diamond white glitter, very fine. The name implies it's fine. It's a dust, so it is really very fine. So my only complaint about this particular die is the fact that the body of it is permanently attached to the back plate. Can you see just there? And personally speaking, I don't know about anybody else, perhaps other people will think differently, but more often than not, I want that body to match whatever card I've used for the filigree layer, not for the back one. So it's just a bit of a nuisance. I would prefer, if anybody asked my opinion, I would say I would prefer that the body was attached to the front layer rather than the back one. So there we are. Now all I've got to do is be really patient and wait for that to set. So just to go back to the card again, it's really very, very simple. A front panel cut with a press cut die. This is one of the rectangle ones, which actually must be imperial measures, because I say this is a 5" by 7" card cut from a piece of A4. So I cut a panel with a rectangle die, used an oval to make the aperture. Once I'd done that, I used this Sizzix music embossing folder. And a quick tip, if you're going to use something that's supposed to be straight, either ensure that you put it on straight or just use a slight angle, and then it doesn't matter. I'd quite like a bit of an angle, I must confess. So a bit of embossing behind, and then once it was done, I thought that the aperture looked a little harsh somehow, so I had a little rummage through my dies and found just a little bit of foliage, cut a couple of those and stuck those onto the front. And a cascade of tiny gems sort of brought you round to the sentiment, which is from this set, which is by Avery L. I'm not sure if it's still available, but it's called Simple Sentiments, and they are just so useful. Super size and lots of variety of things for your message. So there we are. How to make a stained glass butterfly without all the fiddle of inserting tiny, tiny pieces. As ever, thanks so much for watching.